Hi everybody, my name is Phil Kauth from Seed Savers Exchange, and I'm the Director of Preservation, and I'm here to show you how to cook up some collards that I've learned from our good friend Ira Wallace at Southern Exposure Seed Exchange. She was here in 2017 for our annual conference, and she had me go out and pick some collards, and I came back and said, well, how are you going to prep them? And you said, I'm going to make this wilted collard salad. And I said, I've never heard of that before. And she said she learned how to do this when she was in Jamaica, and this is how they do it there, and actually Brazil as well. So it's a real simple recipe. It's really quick. One of the things I actually add in now is some mustard greens, which is a little unusual because a lot of people don't do mustard greens this way either, but it gives it a little bit of a spicier kick. So before we get going and I show you how to do this, the ingredients you need, real simple. You need a good garlic. So this one is from Seed Savers Exchange. It's called Gazebo Grande. You can see how nice big those cloves are. It has a real robust flavor. Onion, I'm using a red onion here. I just like a little bit more of a stronger onion taste, and this is called Boitano Sweet, which is another Seed Savers Exchange onion. And then your collards, which I have in the pot here, and this is a yellow cabbage collard, which yellow cabbage collards, in my opinion, are like kind of the cream of the crop type of collard. And then this lovely plate of mustard greens. This is Feaster Family Heirloom, which came to us pretty recently from Jerome Feaster down in Florida. And the other thing is, get a good pot or pan. So this is a nice wok style pan, and it's big enough that they'll wilt down real nicely. So the thing you need to do first, obviously, is just go ahead, chop your onion and chop up your garlic. I just do a rough chop. I don't crush it. I don't do anything real fancy with it. Just get a nice big rough chop on your garlic. I like kind of big chunky pieces in this. It just creates more of a nicer, robust flavor when you're eating it and you start chewing on the garlic. So just get a nice good rough chop there. And that's that. And then I just usually just put it right in the bowl with the onion. And you'll see some of those pieces are pretty big. And that's okay. I like that flavor. And then what we can do is just go ahead and start chopping collards. And what Ira taught me is you roll them up, just like such. I like to use the stems. Collards at this time of year in fall are super delicious. The frost actually sweetens them up a little bit. So, and the stems actually are really juicy and quite sweet. So don't get rid of the stems. So you just give it a good chop. Just put those aside and you just keep doing that. And you'll see I picked quite a good amount of collards here that fills this pretty large pot. You'd be surprised at how much the collards will wilt and the mustard greens will wilt down. So feel free to pick a lot of collards as you do this. And the other thing is, when you are picking your collards, sometimes the outer leaves are a little bit tougher. So go to the inside and the middle part of the collards, and that's where they are super tender and really, really flavorful. So you'll see I'm kind of running out of space a little bit here. That's okay. And you'll see I take a big amount when I chop. Goes a little bit quicker. And some of the strands are a little bit bigger, some are a little bit smaller. That's okay. I made this recipe for my family. I have several daughters, as many people know here that I work with. And my 6-year-old, this is one of her favorite recipes. And the first time I made this a couple weeks ago for them, they all ate it. They didn't leave me any, and I was bummed. And I came back to the stove. I said, "Where did all the collards go?" And then they said, "Oh, we ate them all." And you see, they didn't leave me any, and I was bummed. But it's good that kids are eating collards. So go ahead, put your pan on. Mine is just all stainless steel. I love this pan. And then go ahead, heat your pan up. As it's going, a little trick of the trade I have for here is if you don't have a non-stick pan, put a little salt in the bottom of the pan and heat it up over medium heat, and it actually creates a non-stick type surface. Believe it or not, it works. I learned that in one of my cookbooks I have at home. So go ahead and heat that up. Get a good amount of oil in there. So I used, you can see how big these cloves of garlic are. They're huge. I like a lot of garlic. You can use as much as you want. You can use a spicier or mild type of garlic. But I used 3 really big cloves, and then I used a half an onion because the onion is pretty big. And just go ahead and put it in there and let it heat up. And what I like to do is, let me get a spoon here. Heat that up. And as that's heating, what I will do is put the collards in here. And then I will start chopping the mustard greens as well. And I'm going to do the mustard greens the exact same way as I did the collards. Now, some mustard greens are a little bit spicier, so keep that in mind. But when you cook them, a lot of times that spice actually, it goes away a little bit compared to when you would just eat it raw. So you don't have to use mustard greens for this recipe. I tend to use all mustard greens sometimes and not collards as well, because I'm a big fan of mustard greens. So if you don't like the spicy mustard green, just go ahead and don't use it at all. If you like a lot more spicy mustard greens, you can add a lot more in. So go ahead, and you can hear it starting to cook a little bit. For this recipe, I don't like to cook the onions and the garlic a lot, to tell you the truth. I like to have a little bit more robust flavor. So go ahead and take your collards and just start putting them in. And you'll see it fills up the pan pretty nicely. And what you can do is you can put half in and just start wilting them down. And then let me get this over here. And once they start wilting, you can add more in. And you'll see that it cooks down pretty good. And the rest in there. There we go. Takes a couple minutes. I always stay right on top of it and keep stirring it. I don't really walk away. One of the other secret ingredients I have for this, which I'm not doing today, but sometimes I use a little soy sauce in here. It just adds a little bit more robust flavor. So you can see how they're starting to cook down pretty well. And then I will add in the mustard greens here. can start smelling the mustard greens as you cook this. So how do you know when they're done? It's totally up to you. If you want to keep cooking them down a little bit more until they're really super wilted, go for it. If you like to have them a little bit more on the rawer side, you can do that too. Totally up to you. Try it out, see how you like it. But you can totally see how they are cooking way down. That's why I like a big pan like this. So I'll go ahead and turn it off, and that's a wilted green salad with collards and mustard. If you want to know more about collard greens, we have this great partnership with Seed Savers Exchange and Working Food and the Utopian Seed Project and the Culinary Breeding Network and Southern Exposure Seed Exchange. There's a website, it's heirloomcollards.com, and there's a really cool event happening in December through the Culinary Breeding Network's Eat Winter Vegetables. It's a whole week of collard celebration, December 14th through the 17th. More information will be coming out about that, but a lot of really great speakers for that event. And like I said, if you want to know more about collards, visit the website, and thank you for watching.